In this episode of Mighty Car Mods, we continue the build of our Mighty Mini.
Welcome to another episode of Mighty Car Mods, proudly supported by Just Car Insurance. Now, of course, today we are continuing the build of our mad Supercharged Mini. Now, last time we got the supercharger and extractors in place. We also removed the factory radiator there as well and started working out how we're going to run the belt through all the pulley systems. Now today we've got some epically mad stuff happening. The supercharger and extractors do have to come off again because we've got to get some sensors in there. But we're also going to remove the loom from the engine bay. We're going to lay that out like a giant deconstructed octopus, and we're going to start getting everything ready to wire up our mad Haltech Elite ECU, which is going to be rad. We've got Tuning Fork coming down today as well. He's going to spray his nerdiness all over everybody's face and engine bays. So it's going to be a really, really epic day. Miles is over there right now going through a parts catalogue for the next component of our exciting build. How are you, Miles?
Awesome, mate.
Excellent. So we've got lots of stuff to do today. Marty is off getting a whole shopping list worth of parts. It's going to be freaking awesome. Let's continue this mad Supercharged Mini madness.
Yes, it's going to be an epic day, but first we've got some more mad parts.
Mad? Yeah, man. Alright.
I had to go to a lot of different area codes to get this.
Okay.
Different area codes. Anyway,
Area codes?
yeah, I had to go to area codes to get all that stuff. Speaking of which,
Hose?
yep, I got a few different. Types of hose to choose from as well.
Mad.
Normal fuels or not normal fuels.
Wait a
depending-
second. Does that say what I think it says?
Yeah.
Suitable for E85. Overnight parts from Japan! Yes!
Mad.
Direct from Japan to our door overnight. That was freaking awesome. We only ordered
Was.
that yesterday. Alright, let's see what
Were
we've
they
got
actually
here.
from Japan?
Adelaide, South Australia. That's our receipt. Oh, so excited.
Former gasket. That'd be
Nice.
awesome.
Perfect.
I don't know why is it aviation former gasket?
I have no idea.
Right. And all the other things we wanted, hose clamps.
Neat.
What else? Barbs.
Barbs.
Excuse me.
Good old Barb.
Sorry.
She plays bingo down at the local RSL.
Does.
Oh,
She
say
hangs
good
out
day
with
to
Cheryl.
Say good day to
Like that,
Cheryl
so
for me.
we can
Yeah,
neatly
T-clips.
attach things. Blockers
Blockers.
Oh, robot nipples. I love them.
and gasket sealant.
Nice.
Mad.
Well done.
Oh, and that's the mad aviation.
To make an old school gasket.
Tell me about that, Martin.
Well, am I right that when you're using the old kind of paper style gaskets, is that right? You
Yep.
use this stuff
Yeah,
rather
right.
than
Yeah, the silicone goo stuff is used for most modern cars that don't run paper gaskets. Back in the day, the way they sealed things through flat surfaces with a paper gasket.
Yep.
And in most cases, you'd use some sort of sticky goop.
That is exactly what we
Like that.
need.
Exactly.
And while we're getting excited, this should be, if we're lucky, just some cardboard. Oh wait! Hello! That's exactly what we need, isn't it?
it's a walrus.
A what?
Walrus.
Sorry, a seal.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, man. Alright, that's mad. Overnight parts from Japan, we're ready to go.
Mad.
Gaskety, thanks for picking up that stuff.
No worries.
Let's pull the loom out, then
Sounds
lay
good.
it out and dissectify it.
Good.
It's gonna be an epic day, let's go.
Hey, the random cat.
Our first job is to remove the factory engine loom, which is then going to be modified so it works with our aftermarket ECU. Meanwhile, Marty's going to put an order in and get some more hose. With everything successfully disconnected, the loom is removed from the engine bay. The timing cover is getting a good clean, and I'm going to replace the oil seal because there's never going to be an easier or more convenient time to do it.
most manufacturers' workshop will have some mad special tool for putting these seals in, which is what we don't usually have at home. But a mad little tip and trick is that you can get your new seal and place that in where it needs to go, and then get your old seal and put that on top, and then you can get something like this, a massive socket, put that on top, and then use that to hit it in. And what that does is spreads the load so you don't damage your new seal.
Have you ever damaged a walrus?
Alright, dude.
With the seal in, we can paint on some aviation former gasket and get the timing cover ready to install back in the car.
I just want to get this bolt out of my engine, which I think I'm very, very close to doing.
Is that what you're saying? Are
What?
you saying you want to get the bolt out?
I don't know what you're talking about,
Are
man.
you saying bolt?
Oh my gosh, no. Really? Really? That's so bad, man. That's the worst. That is the worst joke you've ever said.
Really?
You're talking about the runner, whose last name is Bolt.
No, there's the runners over here, dude. That's the runner.
Oh wow.
In there.
Quit. Please quit.
Quit?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, he's pretty quick down the track.
Oh wow. Please quit. Miles, can you make him stop?
He can't stop, he's running too fast.
Martin, give me a hand. Put that down.
Grease, I got chills. They're multiplying. Like that? Grease, you get it? Like the music?
Thanks, mate.
Some good news, Marty's bad jokes have finally stopped, and our ECU has arrived, so we can carry it into the shed.
Stand him up. Hello, Scotty. How are you, mate?
Hey, mate. How you going?
Pretty sure he's
Well, it's good to see you, bud.
See you, mate. Wow.
What's going on, bud?
That was only one of the stranger things we've done.
I love it.
Yeah, classic Mini that's going to go choo-choo.
I am curious though, are you choosing smaller and smaller cars each time? Like, is this a personal joke or something?
Well, they're going to keep going smaller until we're on unicycles.
Yeah.
And that will be the end of Mighty Car Mods.
We're going to have to get somebody else to sit into tunes, because as they get smaller, I'm going to struggle to be
Yeah.
fitting in.
Well, it's going to be particularly tricky to tune Marty's unicycle because I'm going to leave the seat on mine.
Is that payback for all my really bad puns?
No, it wasn't a pun. That was just an off joke.
You're the one
really.
that's holding it like you know what to do with it.
What do you mean?
Look at it. There's your unicycle seat right
Yeah,
there.
the stranger.
It looks like a really well built car. Like all the matting and everything is all really nice.
Yep.
And this is stock, the dual post coils.
Yep, all of this. And literally since I've got it, all I've done is I did oil, brakes, air filter, coolant, heater matrix. That's it. It just goes. It's awesome. And then now this.
Well, probably the important things for these, because of the Siamese port setup, like the way that it works, you know, the EFI on these is normally complicated and difficult because like two cylinders like share one port,
That's right.
and those ports operate in order so that you've got like a rich event, a lean event, a rich event, a lean event every single time. So what I was speaking with Marty yesterday about this was putting the injector before the supercharger, which is how it's how it's done to make like a homogeneous charge or a mixed charge, so that it pulls it in, and then after the supercharger kind of does act like a carburetor, so that the cylinder that wants the fuel just takes it.
So the mixing of the fuel is done before it even gets to the intake manifold, really.
Yeah. So that'll be that's the nicest way to do it, and looking at it, I think that's the only way you can do it. So
Yeah.
it's perfect.
Great. Is it also worth just having a quick chat about
there's been some talk around the barnyard of running this car on organic corn juice, so E85, which as far as we know, we haven't heard of that being done yet, so a supercharged classic Mini running on E85. Any particular suggestions or thoughts about that? Because that's something that pretty soon we're going to be needing to change fuel lines and stuff as well.
I think it's an excellent idea. Has it got, what size is the fuel tank in it?
Small.
Yeah, like if it's got like a 20 litre fuel tank, which wouldn't be unreasonable, I wouldn't think.
Probably 20 or 25
Yeah,
litres.
it costs like $12 to $15 to fill it up.
So good. That'd probably be the only part of it that I'd be just a bit funny about, that if you've only got 20 litres and then we take 35% of your energy away,
Yeah.
you just won't be able to drive very far.
Yeah. That said, I mean, in an emergency, running a flex fuel sensor, we make a map so that it works on 98 as well.
No problems at all. Yeah.
And because it's a Mini, and particularly the Japanese Minis, there's so many parts available for them, so it's really easy to do a double tank or something as well. Yeah, Tirana style. Any thoughts about E85 in a plastic tank? Just, we were talking about that this morning.
No, nothing at all. Yeah, completely happy with everything. I think as long
if
as
it's designed to take petrol, surely it can handle.
Yeah, ethanol will be fine.
Right.
Things like, Miles, the stuff that you do at work with, like replacing fuel filters and cleaning the fuel system and all that stuff just beforehand, just to make sure you're not going to make a problem with dirty stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But other than that,
Okay.
No.
So is it official we're going E85 on the Mini then?
I think that
Is that
Got my vote.
for what it does,
vote?
I think it's
Yes!
the cheapest.
Woo! E85 supercharged Mini. Things just got very, very exciting.
We're adding compression,
Yeah.
aren't we? Artificial compression.
Which means we can now.
It's real compression.
No.
Sort of real.
So all this stuff. Miles, can we have a quick chat about this?
Sure.
About what was happening and now what is happening?
Okay, so when we get this kit, it comes with many things, including which is what they would call a decompression plate. This is something that is old school. This is something you would do back in the day when you had no other possibility of reducing the compression ratio or compensating for the higher compression ratio when adding boost to an engine. We now have obviously the technology these days that obviously with completely mappable fuel injection systems and fuels like E85, we're essentially compensating for that with that fuel. We've got a fuel that has a much better explosion or burning point, so the chances of pinging or not knocking or detonation is very slim.
Higher octane, right?
Definitely higher octane.
And tuning fork, just while we're on the subject, are we going to benefit because we're squirting the E85 and it has so far to travel? We get better cooling, is that correct?
You get a more homogeneous mix or a better mix of the fuel in the air.
Yeah.
So because of the way they're doing this, it's going to be the best that it can be. There's heaps of arguments about that with spraying fuel through the supercharger. Does it have a better or a worse cooling effect on the air? In my opinion, it cools and lubricates the supercharger, which is a really good thing.
Yep.
But as far as a cooling effect on the air, it's arguable, but I think it's neutral because that cooling effect would have happened between the injector and the inlet valve anyway.
Yep.
So more to do with lubrication and just keeping the supercharger lasting. Awesome idea.
But being that this is fairly high compression motor, and we're not going to drop it like with a plate, and we're adding boost, 85 will kind of bring us back to we'll have a bit of a safer margin,
Absolutely, yeah, because it's got a higher resistance to knock or detonation. So between that, the cooling effect of the fuel anyway, tune it like everything else and it's perfect.
One more question, and I don't want to be the devil's advocate. What's going to break?
Nothing.
Nothing's going to break.
I know it's going to break, Martin. Do you want me to tell you what's going to break?
Your heart?
Yes. What's going to break is my heart and its love for any car other than this. When this is working properly, how do you go from a supercharged classic Mini running on E85 with all the goodness? It's fast, it's trackable, it's got the street cred, the ladies love it. If you're into that, I'm sure there's some gentlemen that like it too. How do you go from that into anything else? That's the question no one has an answer to.
So what you're saying is it'll do a bearing?
No, if it was going to do a bearing, it's going to do a bearing in standard form anyway. We've got all the best stuff that we can have. We've got a computer that's fantastic, miles ahead of everything else. We've got tuning fork to tune.
Miles ahead. Ba-boom. Sorry, as you were.
We've got tuning fork to make sure that everything's doing the right thing on the dyno. So any potential failure that any engine would have is potential regardless of what you do to it.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer. What about you, tuning fork?
I agree with Miles. I don't think anything in the engine is going to go wrong. But looking at the rocket cup, look at that. It's as big as, like, I can probably lift the whole motor out with my hand, which means that there's a gearbox in there that I could probably lift out with my other hand, and then there's this diff inside there that's probably about that big. So if I had to pick anything, I would probably say the diff inside the gearbox might be the limiting factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah.
So breaking a diff is just a sign of success.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with
that.
that.
If you're breaking diffs, you're doing the right thing.
At least you can pull them out with one hand on the side of the road and put the other one back in without putting it down.
So now what are we going
Have
to do?
they finished yet, Mun?
What are we going to do now?
Have they finished talking?
They're finished.
Oh, so nothing's going to break.
So what's the plan?
What's the plan now? So we've got the loom, the engine bay side loom. It is out. It is over on the bench. The plan is now just to have a re-inspection of what it is exactly we need to run and what we need to do. Any extra sensors and stuff we need to put in. So this here coming off again. And then using the power of the tuning fork and the Dose Vader to wire us up a storm over there. And then hello choo choo corn juice.
Is that you want to do this with a plug and pin set, so we're going to chop the factory connectors off and repin it?
Yep.
Yes.
So that's such a tidy way to do it.
The loom's in good condition, the wires are in good condition, there's no reason not to use the loom.
Perfect. We'll just go through and make sure we're going to control everything.
Yep.
Bit of EGR stuff over here in the corner to make sure it doesn't smell fuely and stinky, so we'll set that up as well.
Yep.
Let's do this. This is incredible. I'm so excited. It is legitimately the most excited I've ever been about a Mighty Car Mods car ever in the 8 years we've been doing this show. I'm not sleeping at night kind of a thing.
Before the wiring gets ripped apart, the boys are coming up with a game plan for the best way forward to make the Haltech Elite work as seamlessly as possible with the factory loom.
If we get a relay, pin 85 and pin 86 of a relay, and splice 85 to that.
This is the coil in the relay to create the collapsor field.
And that's all it does, so that'll trigger the tacho, and then obviously the sort of sweeper in there which will rip it out so it doesn't make the noise.
Anything. Yep.
Yup, they are all over it. So now it's time to crack out our new aftermarket ECU.
So, got our main end plate,
Our sticker kit.
like catalogue. So we've got a USB key, so that's just got all the tuning software on it. And then your Elite ECU.
Awesome. And do you think the plan is, the ideal situation, could we mount this in the same place where the factory ECU was?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we can do with this bracket that we can actually set up to mount off the back here to give us little
Oh, cool. So we got options of where that
little
goes.
mounting wings.
Yep.
So we'll set that up in a similar position to the factory computer,
And we make sure we do not exceed screw depth of 4mm.
or it'll go straight through. Probably the only thing that's always nice in any sort of ECU or sensors and all that sort of stuff, if you can mount them facing downwards, and at least that way water can't sit in the top of the plugs.
Yep, awesome.
Makes it a bit easier.
And then here's our mad kits,
So
plug and pins.
these are a present for Miles. So plug and pins, because you're going to be replacing the factory ECU connectors with these.
Yep.
So you can just plug it straight in. Use all the factory wire because it's in good condition.
Yep, nice.
We've got air temp, coolant temperature, and then a couple of injector connectors.
Yep.
And then all the rest of the stuff, we're just going to use what's on the factory car already.
Yep, nice. Well, I think with that done, it's time to splice open, to dissect the mini goodness over there. And then it's going to be a few hours of getting everything sorted out. Thanks so much for coming down though, Tuning Fork.
No
you are a true
problems.
legend, an absolute gentle clam and a scallop. Thanks,
bud.
mate. See you soon.
Good on you.
See you later. All right. Where are you, Miles? Yeah, mate. You ready to rock?
Yep.
Awesome.
There's a
Oh,
present
yes. You want to take that one with you? Whoa. There you go. What do you think?
There's going to be plenty of space to put the Elite in there.
And
compared
how's
to
the
this
weight
thing.
reduction? Feel that
Yeah.
versus that.
To be honest, I kind of this one looks really industrial, eh?
It does.
You like it?
A little bit.
Hang that on
All
the
right.
wall.
We don't need this anymore.
I don't know how to tune this though.
No, no one does. You can't. You have to go aftermarket.
With a plan in place, Miles can start dissecting the factory loom. Meanwhile, Marty and I are using a highly technical measuring device called string and routing it through all of the pulleys so we can determine what length belt we're going to need to drive the supercharger. We've come in at around 1700 millimeters, so now it's just a matter of finding out what's available that's going to fit our custom setup.
So for our belt, 5 PK, they've got 1750 or 1675.
What did we measure at? 1700.
Yeah, just under, I think. Still, they're kind of expensive, but I could potentially return one.
Yeah,
they're like 70 bucks.
Get them both and we'll return the one that we don't use.
Yeah, so one of those two will work.
Yeah.
Just up the road.
Yeah.
Mad.
While Marty heads off to the local auto parts store to pick up a couple of different belts, work continues on the loom.
Serpentine belts. I don't know why they call them that. Something about a serpentine, snaky looking thing. 5 PK.
That one could be a little bit short, that one could be a little bit long, but we'll see how we go.
Exactly, and the 5 PK means it's got 5 ribs in there, so it'll fit what we're doing. And they're the closest we can get to what we measured, so
That's awesome, man. Thank you
see
very
what
much.
happens.
That is rad.
Thanks, mate.
The moment of truth. Fingers crossed that one of these is going to fit.
This is pretty exciting right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner. This one is spot on, and we'll be able to adjust it with the tensioners to make sure it's an absolutely perfect fit. With the right belt, now we can start putting the pulley side of the engine back together. We've just grabbed a brand new coolant temperature sensor.
The next thing that we need to install is a coolant temperature sensor. Now, because we've got rid of this whole intake manifold here, it had the factory coolant temperature sensor underneath there, but this whole thing is gone and the new ECU is going to need to see it so we can check for temperature. So, we've got the new one here and we have to install it somewhere, and we've found probably the best place to do it is right here. So what that means, in the base of the thermostat here, we can take this off, tap a thread into there, and we've just got to make sure there's enough room to put the plug in, and then that plug can take what the sensor's reading and send it into the new aftermarket ECU.
With the hole successfully drilled in the housing of the thermostat, now we can tap in a new thread which will fit our tapered sensor perfectly. With our thermostat reassembled, now we can install it back into the car. Our flex fuel sensor has just arrived and Marty has picked up a whole lot of hose.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah, yes.
More parts
Mad.
from our friends at Aeroflow. It was awesome. Only just ordered this stuff. They came to the party. And it's extremely well boxed up.
Oh, it's an unboxing video.
Never understood those things. So this should be, they do like fluid transfer stuff, so it's like hoses and fittings and fuel lines, and if you're building a car from scratch, those kind of catalogues are really handy.
Oh,
So straight up is, that's our Dash 8 hose, so that's like oil resistant and stuff, so it's basically like a super high quality fluid transfer hose. Should be 2 different sizes of that. That should be that should be the Dash 10. Doing like heater hoses and stuff like that. And a couple of little fittings. So these are the fittings we're going to be using on our flex sensor. They actually like push lock onto it. And then we got some barbs there that we can run hose for the rest of our fuel system.
awesome, man. That's great.
Rad.
Very excited.
Alrighty, so that is another massive day on the Mini with these legends. We got a lot of stuff done today. We got the timing cover put back on. We got the belt. We got all the spare parts and stuff that Marty picked up this morning.
We've got our ECU.
Yeah, we got an ECU. We had a visit from Tuning Fork, all the stuff from Aeroflow. So it's been a massive day. Now next time on Mighty Car Mods, we're going to finish off the wiring, change the fuel lines so that they can run E85, finish the plumbing and the sensors on the supercharger and the extractors, and then what? Spots. That's right. How you going, Miles?
Fantastic.
It's been many days of minis. Are you coping?
Oh, I'm loving it.
Yeah?
Loving it.
Are you gonna go buy one? Yes.
Maybe.
I know you are.
Have I mentioned how many times I can't wait to hear this thing?
Yeah. It's gonna be awesome.
I've owned a small supercharged hatchback and I loved it.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. So there it is. Of course, you can keep your eyeballs on the Faceballs. That's facebook.com/Mighty Car Mods. Another mad day of minis. I'm gonna go and get some pumpkin soup, and I'll see you guys later. See you, Miles. Legendary. See you, Martin.
Next time on Mighty Car Mods.